Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live session. I'm so sorry last week I wasn't able to get on because I was out of town all week and um, it was so busy that I didn't have any time to be able to get on in the hotel room. So I'm so sorry. But I'm back today, a live session, and our topic is where your greatest wealth exists. Where your greatest wealth exists. Where's your greatest resources for manifesting? Your future, manifesting your desires, manifesting the abundance, prosperity that you're seeking. Where does that wealth really reside, and how can you tap into that wealth? And so that's what today's topic is going to be about for those of you who are seeking to tap into resources that are struggling to say that I don't have any money, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have networks, I don't have connections, I don't have this. I want to really address this issue of where your wealth really resides and how you can tap into that. So, welcome to this live session. Hi, Najera, how are you? Great to see you. And great to see you and great to see everyone else. And as always, if you have any questions about the topic or other topics, please let me know. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you might have to help you in your journey of life, to help you truly manifest your future. Hi, Christy, how are you? Good morning to all of you. So let's just settle down, just breathe naturally, be present in the now, and focus your attention in this present moment. Dear God, angel, spirit guide, send a message, divine creator. Thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space on the topic of where your wealth truly resides and exists to manifest the future that you desire. Thank you so much for allowing us to come together, engage in this beautiful conversation with each other, learn from each other. Thank you so much for allowing us to channel your words, wisdoms, power of knowledge, and all of the messages that you have for the highest and best interest of everyone involved in this room, in this energetic space. Thank you so much for removing any low frequency energies that do not serve the highest and best good of everyone in this space. Thank you so much for allowing us to each be on our soul's path and journey, and to be able to have a session today with ease, flow, serenity, peace, and to get as much out of this as we all can so that we may truly become powerful creators of our lives. Thank you. And so it is. I'm staying. Okay. So the topic is, oh, I'm so glad, Christy, that you have caught me live too. So again, like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. The topic is, where does your power truly lie? Where does your power truly exist? So one of the things that when we when we think about manifesting our future, manifesting that prosperity, whether it's in money, health, career, business, relationships, whenever we think about that, we think that we have to have some kind of external resource, like we have to either have money, or we have to have certain connections, or we have to have something or a certain network, or we have to have a certain community, we have to know certain people. So we're always thinking that in order to manifest those things, we have to have those external things in our lives, whether it's relationships, money, community, network, who you know, things like that. And while that is true to some extent, while that is true to some extent, that's not where it starts. Because if you look at about 90% of the people just in the US alone, and not just around the world, but the US alone, 90% of the people who have what you would call money, multimillionaires, right? And I think by society standards, you would say that that person has money. 90% of those people did not come from money, did not inherit money, did not inherit wealth. So if 90% of the people that actually have money did not inherit it, then what happened? They had to make it. They had to build it. They had to create it. They had to manifest it themselves, right? So think about it. 90% of those people probably were in situations where they didn't have money, where they didn't have the connection, where they didn't have the outside external resources. They didn't know the right people, they didn't have the network, and they didn't have the money, right? 90% of those people, because they did not inherit that money, they built everything themselves to become a multi-millionaire. And so I think one of the biggest things that we have to think about is shifting where our wealth really is. There's a myth that if we have the external money, if we have the external home, if we have the external network, we have all these external things, that is when we are truly wealthy. That is when we are abundant. That is when we are prosperous, because it's something that you could see, you could touch. It's in the external world, and it's something that's tangible, because it's like you can with money you can buy a home, with money you can buy a car, right? So you could physically, tangibly touch it. But all of those manifestations come out of something else. It comes out from your internal world, all manifestations inside out. So there's got to be a huge shift in where your wealth really is. That people have this thing is, if I have those external things, then I am wealthy. And in order to have those external wealth, you have to first have internal wealth, because it's all inside out. Those people have those things because they were able to shift their mindset, and therefore shift their energetic broadcasting, and therefore the universal forces matches it. So there's got to be a huge shift in our consciousness, in the way we think about things, and the way we think of wealth, the way we think of prosperity, the way we think of abundance. There's got to be a huge shift, because what we're saying is, and what society's saying is if you have the money, you're wealthy. If you have the relationships, you're wealthy. If you have the network, you're wealthy. If you have the home, you're wealthy. If you have the car, you're wealthy. If you have all of these material things external, you are wealthy. But those external things come from energetic flow, energetic vibrations, energy. It's a energy that creates all that flow to have that abundance. And so when we start, like the 90% of the wealthy people that weren't multimillionaires when they started, they were probably, low income families or middle class families, right? They're all probably in that category. What happened? What is the difference between them and maybe 95% of the population? How many multimillionaires are there in this country? I don't know, but I would suspect that if you are a multimillionaire, you would be maybe in the 2 to 3% of the population, maybe up to 5% of the population. So what is it that they're doing that's different from the 95% of the population? What is the 5% or less doing than the 95% of the population? We have to examine that, because if 90% of the multimillionaires did not come from wealth, did not inherit their money, that means that they made money. That means that they created money. That means that they created their own abundance and prosperity, right? That's what that means. And so what it is this, is that once we start to change and shift, that our wealth really starts from within our thoughts, within our emotions, our mental emotional space. That's where wealth really begins. And we focus on building that wealth, then the external wealth will flow, will align with that internal wealth. That's where we have to start. We have to start shifting. We have to completely shift our paradigm here, from external wealth to internal wealth. And the great thing about internal wealth, and this is really important, the amazing thing about internal wealth is that every single one of us has it. Nobody is excluded from that internal wealth. No one. No one is excluded from internal wealth. Now, we are excluded. There are people who are excluded from external wealth, and we see it all over the world. We see it even in this country, right? We see people who are homeless. We see people who, who could barely afford rent, who could barely afford, to pay a to buy food, right? So there are people externally that are excluded from that external wealth, but internal wealth is not excluded. Internal wealth is not excluded. Every single one of us has it. It's really a matter of whether we're tapping into it, accessing it, and leveraging that internal wealth or not. That's the difference. Are we accessing and leveraging that internal wealth, or are we beating the drums and saying that life is unfair, that I can't do this, I'm not good enough to do this? What does that internal wealth look like? Is that internal wealth, it's like a water cup. Is our internal wealth filled with water? Is the glass half full or glass half empty? Where is our internal wealth? Have we filled up our wealth or have we depleted our internal wealth? What have we done to our own internal wealth? Because every single one of us has it. It's not exclusive to a group of people or to a certain percentage of people, because we are all energetic beings, perfect image of that divine and of God, right? Every single one of us. Who is not the perfect image of God? Who is not an energetic being of infinite possibility? Who is not? There's not anybody that I know that is not a perfect image of God and infinite possibilities. Do you know anybody? I don't know anybody. So when I see every single one of my fellow humans, I see infinite possibilities. That's what I see. And it's whether you are allowing those infinite possibilities to shine. Are you leveraging the power of your internal wealth? That's the question here. And so once we start to shift that mind frame and that mind frame consciousness of internal wealth and stop focusing on the external wealth, because the external wealth will follow because of our internal wealth. It's a byproduct of our internal wealth. Our external wealth is a byproduct of that internal wealth. That's what it really is. Okay. So let's not focus so much on the external wealth, because every time we see that we don't have something, that is when we go get frustrated, we get angry, we play victim, we say life is not fair. Life is not fair because when we see somebody else have more than us, we think that's not fair. So we have to shift the mindset from external wealth to internal wealth, because internal wealth you absolutely have. Every single one of us and every single one of you. And so what does that internal wealth really look like for all of us? Now, it's same and it's different. The way that is same is that every single one of us, every single one of you have infinite potential. That when you access your own talents and gifts, when you start to really understand and access your own talents and gifts in a way that only you can express it, that will resonate with others and that will resonate out into your life. That will resonate in your life with others. And therefore, others will come to support you, help you, whatever it is. And that infinite potential of your unique talents and gifts is something that every single one of you have. Every single one of us possess that. Nobody not possesses talents and gifts. Nobody not possesses this special way of expressing it. That is, everyone has that. Everyone has that infinite potential being expressed through their talents and gifts, through your unique talents and gifts. Now, where it becomes different is, what is that unique talent and gift? And how are you going to express it? So let's say you have a unique talent and gift of writing. Now, there's more than one person that has unique talent and gift of writing, right? I wouldn't say there's only one person on the planet that can write really well. Maybe there's, thousands. But what makes you different from the other writers is that you're going to express that talent in the way that you're going to express it, in the unique way that you're going to write it. Nobody's going to be able to write it the way you write it. Nobody. And that's the unique talent and gift that God has bestowed upon you, which is placed upon every single person. And that's going to be expressed in the only unique way that you can do it, only unique way that Najira can do it, only unique way that Krista could do it, only unique way that Swati can do it, only unique way that Heidi could do it. It's unique to you. There's nobody that could replicate that. And so what you're doing is you are discovering what that is about yourself. What is it about yourself? Those are unique talents and gifts that you can apply to what you call this journey of life. And when you apply it, it becomes magic. It's like magic. Oh my God. It's magic because it's special to you and it's unique to you. And because you're expressing it in your unique way, it's going to be beautiful and magical. How can it not be? And so what it is this is that first it's about finding those unique talents and gifts that you have and how can I apply it to the external world? What is the profession or what is the career? What is the way I'm going to package that unique talent gift to be able to make money, right? To be able to make money. So I remember I was at this beautiful conference in uh Denver last week and I met this wonderful artist. I forget his name. He was taking all the videos in the conference. He's a beautiful guy. You could tell he's a beautiful artist. The way he dresses, the way he expresses himself, he's definitely an artist. And I have a real compassion. I have such honor and respect for artists because artists are the soul. They're expressing their soul, right? And I had a conversation with him and he was taking all the pictures and videos for the conference and he was expressing his art. And he said to me, he asked me, he said, how do I love art. My soul is, to express myself through art. How do I make money? And I said to him, the way you make money is through your unique talents and gifts, through your unique talents and gifts that you have. That is obvious, that we can see, that's obvious, that you figure out how do I package that so that my customers really resonate with that, really resonate with my message, really resonate with my art, really resonate because there are people out there that would completely resonate with his art. Because if it resonates, people will pay for it. They will pay for it. They will pay. There are people that will pay thousands and thousands of dollars. And once it resonates, it will pay for it. But he's going to do it in his unique way that will resonate. Because if he does it like everybody else, then why are they going to pay for his art, right? There's no reason to pay for his art. So I said, you're going to express it in the way that is true to you, that that a customer really wants. Maybe it's photography on the ocean, right? Maybe you have this passion, this innate passion for the ocean or the ocean life, and you start going out and taking all kinds of photographs and videos of the ocean life, and there are people out there that ocean is everything to them. It touches their heart and soul in a profound way. And they're going to want to buy that art because it's touching them in a profound, they're going to pay a lot of money for it. So it's really figuring out what is your gifts and talents, what really speaks to you, and how can you package that in a unique way that is resonating with your customers. So that's what I told him. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, he was really grateful that I gave him that because that once it resonates with somebody and they fall in love with it, they're going to spend the money. There's going to spend the money. There's no question about it. They're going to spend the money. They're going to go out and spend the money. And so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for what is having a real sense of what is my inner talent and gifts and how can I package it? How can I convey that? How can I bring forth that message that really connects with my customers, with your customers, whomever that customer may be? It might even be a customer, maybe it's a marketing, maybe you love marketing and and you're going to use your talents and gift to work for a food company. Maybe you have a passion for food and you have this unique way of marketing the talent and gifts, and you work for a big company in the marketing department. And the way you're going to express that message in the marketing is going to resonate with customers. So you have to understand what your unique talents and gifts internally and who your customers are out there. Maybe your customer is an employer that has a specific type of product that you really believe in and that you're passionate about, and you know that your talents and gifts match that company and their company's product. Maybe it's a vitamin company, maybe it's a herbal supplement company, and you know that your inner talents and gifts match that type of product. And you know that your talents and gifts can bring forth a message about that herbal product that nobody else can do. And because of that, it's hitting the customers in a profound way. And the customers are coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back. So what you want to do is you really want to discover what that inner wealth is, and you want to see who does it align with in the external world that will pay for that, will pay for it. And when you meet those two things and it's an absolute alignment, now you've got magic. Now you've got external material wealth coming in, money coming in, right? And it's a byproduct of that internal wealth that you've figured out, that you've accessed, that you've leveraged, and you've packaged it in a way that resonates with a specific customer. And you want to be clear about who your customer is. It could be an employer. I'm not saying that it has to be a consumer. It could be if you want to get into marketing because you love marketing and you have an internal gift and talent of being able to market, then you might be working for a big company like Nestle, for instance. Nestle, they have many different companies. They have a herbal company, they have a chocolate company, whatever. And you say, I'm going to work for that employer who has that product that I know can align with my internal marketing talents and gifts. And because I'm so good at that, that we're going to sell that much more products out there. We're going to sell that much more products. So you want to shift the paradigm that it's not about the external wealth, it's about the internal wealth that you already have. And that many of us are not leveraging it. We're not accessing. We already have, it's like a pot of gold that we have, and we're not using that pot of gold. We're trying to find a pot of gold that's out there when there's already a pot of gold in the inside, right? How can we use the inside pot of gold and stop looking for the outside pot of gold? So once we say, oh my God, I have this pot of gold on the inside, my internal world, wow, that's a powerful thing. That is a really powerful thing. There's nothing more powerful than that internal pot of gold. And that's the mindset that we have to keep shifting from the external pot of gold to the internal pot of gold. Okay, so let me just take a couple of break and see if there's any questions. Hi, Najira. Okay, creativity is magical. Yes, it is. Hi, there's a guy in our country who shows his clients how to pose for pictures. He is quite sassy, and I saw money flowing to him. Yep. Yeah, you know what? Because you know what? He had a unique proposition. And he had a unique proposition of being able to show, that his talent was to be able to show, how to pose and and he just he probably loves what he's doing, working, interacting with those clients, and he had a knack for it. Like if you told me, if you asked me to show how to pose, show other people how to pose, I would make zero money. I'm sure of it, because I wouldn't know how to do it. And it's not really my interest, right? But I'm sure while he's doing it, he's so into it that it's like he's not even thinking about the money. He's tapping into his internal talents and gifts, and he's connecting it with a consumer base out there that needs it, that wants that service. And that passion and that connection of that internal external customer is what's bringing in that flow of money. So yes, absolutely. And you termed it as sassy. I think that is sassy. That is so cool. I love that. Nisha, I look forward to arriving at this realization. I'm yet to identify applying my talents and gifts and attract abundance. Yes. So, Nijira, you could do a little exercise. So, this is where part two is. And if anybody else has more questions, please let me know. I understand. You're saying, Moon, I'm really not sure what my talents and gifts are. I really don't know. I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know what I have a knack for. And so this is where you get to do an exercise of exploring what that is. So the first thing I would do is I would write down all the things that you love to do from childhood. What are the things that from childhood? From childhood, what are the things that you've always loved? I remember my late sister named Ann, she's a sustainable architect and she's so passionate about what she did. When she was in college, she had two things that she was really interested in. She was interested in animals and she was interested in architecture, I remember. And she said she remembered when she was a childhood that she was always drawn to those things. And so what was beautiful is that she had recognized that about herself. And so she decided to explore both ways. So the first thing she did was, okay, let me intern for a vet, right? If she's really into animals, let me intern for a vet. And she did. She did it for one summer. And she decided that that wasn't for her path. That wasn't her path. So she became an architect and she's a very successful, sustainable. It's all about sustainability. She also has a whole educational, nonprofit educational on sustainable buildings. She's incredibly passionate about what she does. And you could tell her internal gifts. And so now she's gotten so much recognition from the external world is because she tapped into her internal gifts and talents and passion. That's what she really did. And so for some years, she didn't make much money. She did have clients, but she wasn't making a lot of money because she was really following her heart. She wasn't really thinking about the money. She was really thinking about, her passions and her internal gifts and talents. And now she's become really recognized because she's followed her path. She's followed that internal compass. And so one of the things that you want to sit down and take a journal and figure out what are the things that you really enjoy as a child, as a teenager, as an adult. What are the things that you really love? Do you love, maybe it's like some people say, I love food, or, I love working with food, or I love cooking, right? Write down all the things that you really love to do, that you're really interested. Say cooking, or it could be flying, or it could be, I love swimming, whatever it is, write down all of your interests and then write down the things that come easily to you. You say, you know what? Sometimes for my niece, for instance, math comes very easy to her. It's very easy. She's so good at math and it comes very easy to her. So write down the things that come really easy to you. Oh, math comes easy, or uh, figuring out people, reading people comes easy, or writing comes easy, or putting, IKEA furniture. Like my husband, he puts IKEA furniture like that. And it would take me, if it takes him 1 hour to put that IKEA furniture, it might take me 8 hours to put that IKEA furniture. He has a knack for putting things together like that. Just a real knack. He could look at diagrams and he knows how to put it together. So start writing down all the things that you're really good at, like that comes naturally to you, that is a gift. And then from there, that's how you could tell. You could start to formulate what it is your talents and gifts are by writing it all down and looking at it and say, I see that I've always been drawn to cooking. I've always been drawn to food. I've always been, since I was a little girl, since I was 5 years old, since I was 8 years old. I've always been drawn to that. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy, lifestyle of eating certain types of foods. Or I was always drawn to animals. I love animals. I always say if I wasn't been doing this, I'd be a panda bear keeper. I wouldn't mind being a panda bear keeper because I love animals. Animals is something that I absolutely love, and I wouldn't mind. I could easily see myself being a panda bear keeper. I love animals. So again, you can find out, yourself better than anyone else. There's nobody that knows you better than you. It's that you've blocked yourself from that part of you. There's a block there that it's almost as if you put a wall up. And so you can't really even see what your talents and gifts are. You've got to take down that wall. So I would say do this exercise when you feel calmer, when you feel more peaceful, when you feel serene. Don't do the exercise when you're stressed, when you're anxiety ridden, when you're not in your best self. That's not the time to do the exercise. And then from there, you will start to extract what it is. I mean, I know my nephew, for instance, he spends 3 hours at the gym. 3 hours at the gym. If I spend 20 minutes at the gym, I'm like, ugh. I love outdoor things. I love the sun. I don't love being inside a gym. But my nephew spends 3 hours in the gym. Think about that. He should be doing a career as a trainer, as a personal trainer, right? Something, or have his own gym, right? If that's the only thing that he seems to love is working out. Everything else he doesn't seem to like. So think about, and he's trying to do a career in a space that he doesn't enjoy. So he's never going to be great at it. And I've encouraged him to please make a career in the health, in the working out space. That's what I've said. Please make a career, but it's his journey. He can decide. So I've encouraged him to make a career in the working out space. He loves the gym. So that's what it is. You really know, Najira, what it is. You've just blocked yourself from what it is that you're good at. You've blocked yourself from that. And so this exercise will help you unblock yourself, okay? And get to know yourself in a deeper, profound way. Okay. Hi, Heidi. Okay, let's see what else. What sets your soul on fire? What sets your soul on fire? I like that. That's interesting. I like that. What sets your soul on fire? That fire energy that's like, yes, I've got to do it. I'm motivated to do it. I have to do it, right? That's a beautiful way to put it. Hi, Perry. How are you? My own wealth is my ability to live with love and care for the well-being of our world and all people equal with compassion, appreciation for each single moment with joyous celebration. Thank you, Perry. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Every single moment is a new beginning and a gift. Beautifully said. My heroes are earthworms and the clarity of their actions to make healthy soil. Oh, that's beautiful. You know what? Earthworms have their place. They absolutely serve a purpose for our entire ecosystem, right? I always say that everything that we have in nature serves our ecosystem, right? The mountains, the ocean, the insects, the worms, the animals, the trees, the plant, the desert, the sky, the clouds. They all serve this beautiful ecosystem, right? A beautiful ecosystem. And everything has a higher purpose. Everything has a higher purpose. So we want you to find your higher purpose. That's the secret here. Find your higher purpose. Find the reason why you've been given that internal wealth is to serve a higher purpose for your expansion and growth of yourself and the entire universe. We want to grow and expand. The universe is expanding as we speak, and we're part and parcel of the universe. So our own soul wants to expand and grow. And so you've been given these particular gifts and talents so that you can use it, apply it so that you can feel your expansion and growth. That's what it's really about. And when you apply it for this purpose that you have on your soul's journey in this life, you're expanding and growing. And so that's what you're trying to discover. You're trying to really discover your soul's journey. And your unique talents and gifts is the key to open that soul's journey. It's the key that unlocks that soul's journey. It's the key that unlocks. So that's why you want to find what that is. You want to find what that is. And when you discover that and you apply it in a practical sense, in a more, in this time space reality, you apply it through a job, through a career, through a project, through a nonprofit, whatever it is, you're turning it into a physical, practical, higher purpose work that will connect to money, that will connect to prosperity, that will connect to abundance. That's kind of a byproduct of it. So That's what this is. It's really a finding that soul's journey through your talents and gifts and unlocking that wealth. And like I said, every single person has that wealth. Nobody is immune to that wealth. That is something that every single person is given. So to say that somebody has unique talents and other people don't have it, no, that's not true. Every single one of us has it. It's about unlocking it. It's about leveraging it. And it's also about saying, I am good enough to have it. There are a lot of people that would put themselves down and say, no, I'm not good enough. I don't have those talents and gifts. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. That I don't deserve, I'm not worthy enough to have these unique talents and gifts. I'm not worthy enough. And that's just a myth. It's a lie. It's your ego mind messing with you, trying to put you down, that you're not good enough. It's not true. Those are all external things that you want to let go. I let go of the ego mind to connect and come home to my soul, to discover my internal wealth and truth, to be on my soul's journey for the expansion and growth of my soul. So you want to keep saying, if you start saying, if you see something out there and you say, oh, you know what, I really want to become a vet, let's say, but you say, how am I going to become a vet? I haven't gone to medical school. Like, and you need to probably go to some medical school, right? Or things like that. There's some steps to becoming a vet. You can't just become a vet, right? And you're sitting here, you're maybe 35 or 40 years old, and you're thinking, oh God, I really discovered that I want to work with animals and I want to become a vet. But I can't do this because I got to go to med school. Now, how am I going to do that, right? That right there is the reason why you're not a vet. All those things that you keep saying and saying why you can't do it. Pause, pause, pause. Why you can't do something, you've got to pause. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Pause, 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 pause. Pause that. You say, you know what? Instead of saying that, oh, I can't do it because I'm not in medical school. How am I going to go to medical school? She says, you know what? I know that I'm supposed to go to medical school. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it, where it's going to happen. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to happen, but I believe that I am going, and I know that I'm going. And I know that the universal forces will bring me the cooperative components to go to medical school. And you will see, once you make that shift, that mindset shift, you're making a vibrational frequency shift. You're going from here to here. And now the universal forces are going to show you. You could be, in the supermarket and you could meet somebody who's a vet who says, hey, why don't you work for me for a little bit? Like, you just don't know where that cooperative component is going to come in. It's amazing. So it's then you've got to tap into that. You have to understand that you have internal wealth, step one. Step two, acknowledge that internal wealth. Keep acknowledging that you have that internal wealth. Step three, every time that your thoughts mess with that internal wealth, you've got to pause and let it go. Let go of anything that prevents you from tapping into your internal wealth. So that anything that you say to yourself that doesn't support your internal wealth, say pause, I let it go. I release it to the universe. Keep doing that. Acknowledge that you have internal wealth, that you are the wealthiest of the wealthiest. Tap into that internal wealth and step through. Whenever you hear yourself not supporting that internal wealth, say pause and release it. Okay. You're welcome, Christy. Okay. Hi, Parrot. We are all intertwined energetically and are sacred entities that are holy and divine in our own unique ways of opening, living with love and harmony, with gratitude and joyous living, moment by one moment. Thank you so much, Perry. Your beautiful wisdom gives me such peace and serenity. You have no idea. So thank you so much for that. Wonderful. Okay, so does anybody else have any other questions about this topic of your own internal wealth, that your greatest wealth is, or you already have it. You already have that pot of gold internally. And so now let's start spending that pot of gold. Rather than looking for a pot of gold out there externally, you already have it. So let's start spending that pot of gold that you already have rather than trying to find something out there. You know, it's always, you already have it. You just don't even realize that you have it, but you have it. That's the first thing. The first thing is to realize and understand that you have it already, that internal pot of gold. And when you spend that internal pot of gold, you will start to see that external pot of gold. So, first step, understand and acknowledge that you already have that internal pot of gold. 2, start tapping into that internal pot of gold. How can I use it? And how can I align with it? And how can I express it in a way that aligns with a career or a job or a project out in the world that connects with my customer? And 3, whenever I'm saying things to myself that doesn't support my internal wealth, I pause it and let it go. Okay. Hi, Najira. How come I have blocked myself from that part of me? Because if you're 30, let's say you're 30 years or 40, I don't know how old you are, Najira, and you've taken in so much limiting beliefs from the white noise of society, the white noise of your family, the white noise from your friend, the white noise of society, right? You've absorbed all of this limiting beliefs. Then you've trained your subconscious mind that you are limited, right? You've trained yourself. And because you've trained yourself, it becomes your default way of being, default. So you've got to untrain yourself. That's where the block is. The block is because you've trained yourself for so many years through what your family members are saying, through what community is saying, through what society is saying, right? They're saying a lot of things that do not support your infinite potential, right? What is your family saying? I remember you said, your family looks down on you because you don't have as much money. Well, you've absorbed that. And because of that, you think you are poor, that you are not good enough, or you're not good enough as them because you don't have as much money, right? So think about that. You've internalized that for how many years now? 5, 10, 15, 20 years, right? So what you're doing is you're just broadcasting a lot of low frequency poor. I'm poor. I'm poor. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. That's what you keep in the story that you're saying to yourself over and over. I'm poor because my family says I'm poor. So rather than looking at that external, you start shifting the mindset. No, internally, I'm wealthy and I don't care what they say. You block what they say and you tap into what your eternal truth is, and you tap into that. But if you've practiced feeling poor for so many years, you continue to block yourself, right? So it's literally reprogramming yourself, reprogramming your subconscious mind, reprogramming every cell in your body to feel that you have the internal pot of gold. When society is saying you're poor, it's easy, right? So we all fall into the trap. You're not the only one, Najira. You're not the only one. We all fall into that trap. Yes, thank you, Heidi. She says it is your birthright. That's right. It is your birthright. You are wealthy. That is your birthright. You have that internal pot of gold. That is your birthright. Nerdane. Hi, Nerdane. How are you? Hi, Moon. My son loves the gym too. Condolences for your recent loss. Great to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you. My mother has been coming. I lost my mother at the age of about a month and a half ago, and no, about a little over a month ago now. And she's been coming into my dreams, and I've been very grateful for that because she's telling me she's with my late sister's son and my father, and she's been coming into my dreams. So I'm very grateful. Obviously, she's not here physically, but she is always here spiritually. So now I've been praying to her, my late sister's son, my spirit team. So now I pray to my mom, my late sister's son, and my spirit team. So she's now included in my spirit team, my mom. So I'm very grateful that she didn't have too many days of suffering and pain. I'm very, very grateful for that. She is in peace and in a higher consciousness place. So thank you so much for those kind words. I deeply appreciate it. Um, Najira, wow, thank you. I will intentionally do that. You're welcome. You're welcome. Um, Nordane, if you can also, you say your son loves the gym. If you can encourage him to do something in that space, maybe he can become a personal trainer. Then, next thing you know, he's going to meet somebody who wants to open a gym, like a business partner, right? So because he loves the gym, if you can, try to encourage him to explore a career on that path, you know? I mean, literally, my nephew, 3 hours he could be in the gym. 3 hours? He could barely be in the gym for like 20 minutes, and I'm bored. I'm like going like this. I'm like, I love the sun. I love being outdoors. I don't love being in the gym, So I would encourage you to encourage him to explore something in that field. Uh, okay. Thank you, Heidi. Love you too. Oh, I love this. Heidi says, abundance is so much more than money or currency. Absolutely. Absolutely. Abundance is internal. We have a pot of gold on the inside. Najira says, based on today's topic, you are great at what you do. Oh, thank you so much. I always say that I do what my soul's journey tells me to do. That's why I do this. If it didn't feel like it's my soul's journey, I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be doing it. Um, Hi, Kat. Hi, Kat Aaron. Thank you for your condolences. Thank you so much. I deeply appreciate it. Yes, she is in the spirit world with me and with all of us. So I'm so grateful for that. I will be joining her and my sister and my father at some point. Not that, and so I look forward to joining them in due time. Perry, Moon, your unique wisdom and intuitive skills and talents to achieve peace and sharing your time and effort to help us is all a great blessing and a gift. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Everything I do has to feel like it's on my soul's journey, my soul's path. That's why I do it. If it doesn't feel like it, then I don't do it. Must feel like it. Okay. Thank you, Nordane. Hi, Heidi. Sending much love. My mom passed after 38 of suffering with MS. She told me never be sad. Her quality of life was limited. 38. Oh my God, that's so young. Oh my God. My late sister's son passed away at 43. So my sister's son passed away young. Wow, that's beautiful. Have a wonderful day, Christy. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Heidi. You are so lovely. You are so lovely. So grateful. I'm so grateful to this room, the beautiful souls in here. It's just a beautiful exchange and engagement. And you guys teach me and the things that you say or ask or share with me, I always feel like I'm learning from you. Always. This is one of the reasons why I come on because I always really do feel like I'm learning from you. Okay, so if anybody doesn't have any questions, let's just do a quick recap that your greatest wealth lies internally. You already have a pot of gold on the inside that you could use and tap into and leverage and start to spend. Rather than looking at the external pot of gold, look at the pot of gold that you already have internally. And once you start to leverage that and tap into it and access it, you will see and you start to package that and express that out into the world, people will resonate with it and the external pot of gold will come in naturally and organically. So understand your greatest wealth lies within, that you already have a pot of gold. So tap into that and you will see the external pot of gold come in. Okay. Hi, Kiki B. Oh, thank you. You're welcome so much. Much love and blessings to you. Okay, so let's do a closing prayer. Dear God, angel, spirit guides, and master divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space. Thank you so much for allowing all of our spirit guides that are past and present, that are with us to guide us and continue to guide us in our soul's journey and path. I ask you to allow every one of these beautiful souls to really acknowledge, understand, and be connected to their internal wealth, their internal pot of gold, so that they may truly attract that external pot of gold into their life. So, thank you so much for continuing to show us how rich we really are, how wealthy we really are in the inside. And when we can tap into our internal wealth, that is when we could tap into our external wealth. So, we are deeply grateful for your continued support, your continued guidance, your continued wisdom, your continued protection, and most importantly, your unconditional love. And so it is. Namaste. Much love and blessings to all of you. Have